Welcome back. If you're new here, hi, I'm Joanna, and on this channel I like to talk about sustainable lifestyle, happiness and minimalism. So if you want to see more of the content like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, it helps a lot. So the new year started just a few weeks ago, and yes, you know what I think. It's not a time anymore to say Happy New Year, but still it is a new year that is starting, and I wanted to share with you some things, some thoughts that I have for the new year and how to start this new year with power, with mindfulness and with productivity. Very often we see this expression, the new year equals the new me, but this is not something that is true, because you cannot switch being person from one day to another. This is not something that's possible. Being in the world, being someone is a process, and that's what I like to look at when I'm planning or figuring out what my next year will look like. One of the most important things in the life of humans is to be a better person than I was yesterday and be a better person than I was last year or 5 years ago. And this is something that I really try to work on. Be aware of who I am in the world and be a better person as well. Why I don't agree with this expression, new year being new me, and this is probably something that is outdated anyways, because I think the beautiful thing about living is to learn from the things that I didn't achieve last year, the things that did let me down in the last years, the experiences I had, everything that I had, the adventures, the travels, the people I met. All the things are coming together and form you as you go through life, and this is something that I think is really a beautiful thing, and not something that can be learned or achieved through one day or just sitting down and deciding that this year will look like this, because it's all based on what happened beforehand. And yeah, this thing as a really beautiful process I wanna continue doing. I was thinking, and very often people do like to put goals, write down goals for the next year, but we all know that this isn't something that is working, because just putting yourself a goal doesn't mean that you're gonna do this. And to do something, you really need to get into it and really need to be in the process. And this is something that I really think is also the more beautiful thing, because through that you're learning who you are and you're learning how to be in the world and what is important for you, and you're learning through the process. And you will not learn from achieving the goal, because this is something that you probably just achieve and forget and then just say, right, I just did that. But the process of how you got to that point is much more interesting. I also think this is not something that will really stick to your mind. This is something that you will learn a lot from, and it's not gonna be very rememberable, because it's just a single moment in time that you're focusing on and not on the process how you got there. And this can be, for example, when you're writing a year exams for your studies, and the only thing you're focusing on is just to pass the exams and not the process of learning the things and knowing the things. This will not be as rewardful as you think it would be, because probably you just squash everything into your mind and not really trying to learn the things, and you're not really trying to study in that sense. So these are really two different things: learning just to pass something and studying for yourself and for your own knowledge. So on this example, I think it's very beautifully seen how this moment versus line in time can be shown. And another thing is also that through that linearity you will learn a lot more about yourself, about the world. There are many layers that come into that, also interactions with others and the environment you are in, and not just only focusing on achieving this one goal, because there is a path to this and there has to be a path, because otherwise it's just like a really detached something in the air and you don't know how to get to there. And this is also very difficult to do, because you can be very intimidated by something that is like, I want to pass these exams, but you don't know how to do that. And as long as you don't try and error and go on this path to achieve that, you will not know how to do this. And I sometimes felt like I was really that one of the persons that just said, oh, I want to achieve that, I want to do that, but I never really knew how to do this or how to achieve that. But there are really little steps that you have to take to go to get something to your goals, because goal is not only a single point in time. So this is really a thing that I really like to continue throughout the next year, and I encourage you to also do that, to try to imagine who do you want to become and what are the things that you have to learn on the way. And I think this is a really nice way to put yourself in, I don't know, 1 year or 5 years. And this is something that is much closer to my mind than just saying when someone asks me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And there isn't something that I can say like, I want to do doing this and this and this, and my day will look like that. And because this is not something that I can predict in that sense, because I don't know what will happen in the next 5 years. I know what path I want to go, I know what kind of person I want to become, and what will happen on the journey, I don't know. That's why I think habits are really important, to be constant in your life, so you can really tend to your flaws, to your imperfections. When you have something to come back to, like mentally, then everything else can be a disaster, but you know how to stay calm, how to be in peace with yourself still. And this is something that I really am on the path on the journey, and in no way is perfect at, because there are still things in life that brings you out of your peace and stuff like that. But this is really something that I find so important, that I really want to work on. And this is a journey, and this isn't something that I will see one point, I have done that, I have achieved that, because there's not possible. And yeah, I'm glad that I know what I want to do with that, and I know that I want to do this, and I don't know how, but it's not always easy, right? And good habits are not only good for your personal development, for how your personality develops, but also for professional work or education. It's really good to have good habits, and I'm talking from experience that this is not easy, because I have tried so many habits to try implementing them and doing them, because I know this will help me to, for example, be more productive, be more concentrated. But this is not something that is easy, and this is also something that takes time to learn. And I think this is also a beautiful thing, because you try things and then you see what works for you and what doesn't, and it's also very subjective, and everyone is different in that sense, what works for everyone, and there's not a size fits all, and that's why you have to find it out on your own. This is also something that I want to improve in the next year, in the next years, even just to get better at it and to really be able to get everything out of my time, because this is very precious and I don't have a lot of time, and time is really valuable, and there is just really a thing that you have to balance. And I think this is something really interesting topic as well. The habits that I mentioned before, like there are different habits that you can do. There are good habits for everyone, it's maybe different, but for me there are some things that I really think are helping me and helping me be with other people as well. For example, like doing yoga or something similar to meditation. I've started doing meditation in December, but I'm not really sure if this is something for me, but I think that there are so many benefits from it. I really want to try doing that, and also for the new year I want to try to continue on that journey. These are the two things that I want to implement for me to train my mindfulness. This is something that I think is very powerful, to be able to be in the present, also be very concentrated on the moment that is here, and not thinking about what happened last week, regretting all the things that did happen, or thinking too much about what is going to be, and worrying before even doing something. And this is something that I think is really important in today's world as well, to just be able to also be in a moment, and also to be able for 1 second or for 10 minutes in a day to shut off everything around you and to be just yourself and with your thoughts and thinking about things, coming up with ideas. Yeah, I think this is something really cool about this. And I also think that there's another layer to that, because when you're able, like when you train mindfulness, you know how that feels and you know how you can concentrate only on one thing. And that is something that I struggle a lot. But when you have a task to do, or when you're stressed out or something, when you know the feeling of being concentrated on one thing and being in this moment doing this thing or doing nothing, then you know how to do that, and it's much easier to sit down and just to concentrate on this one task you have. Yeah, I still have to do a lot in that regard, but I think this is something really cool and something that everyone should try to do. So for me, these 3 practices, mindfulness, good habits and processes, is something that I really believe are going to change how you are in the future. And this is something that I want to bring on my journey for this year. So that's why I did this video for the next year, just to see how much power there is behind these things. Maybe there are also things that are different for you, but I think these intentions, so things that I've learned so much, find so much value in them, because I already learned so much through that, and I will continue learn from them, and I know that, and that's why I want to continue doing them in the next year and in next years. So there are 3 key takeaways that I think are the most important from these 3 practices. And being present through practicing mindfulness is giving me the opportunity to turn every moment into something good, into something productive, or something. Good habits taught me to be strong, and this gives me the opportunity and the possibility to put everything that I have in mind into action. And finally, being open from learning from the process gives me the opportunity to learn for the future from what is happening now. A new year may not mean the new you, but if you set eyes on the present and who you can become through practicing things, processes, this is something way more powerful and way more meaningful and fulfilling. On a final note, I wish you, and I wish myself as well, to continue on this path or start this new process and become a powerful self this year. Thanks so much for watching, and if you like this video and want to see more like this, subscribe to my channel and like this video, it would help a lot, and I hope I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!